Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our Youth Skills First Entrepreneurs in Residence Cohort Demo Day. I'm Christina Francis, Executive Director at JFF, where I get the privilege of serving and leading our JFFLabs team. For the last 40 years, JFF, a national nonprofit, has driven transformation for U.S. workforce and education systems. We sit at the intersection of workforce, education, Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our Youth Skills First Entrepreneurs in Residence Cohort Demo Day. I'm Christina Francis, Executive Director at JFF, where I get the privilege of serving and leading our JFFLabs team. For the last 40 years, JFF, a national nonprofit, has driven transformation for U.S. workforce and education systems. We sit at the intersection of workforce, education, policy, practice, and innovation to drive these transformations. At JFF Labs, we know that skills, credentials, and the jobs of the future are changing. Learner needs and expectations are evolving, and new technologies and solutions provide new ways for learners and workers to discover, acquire, and assess skills. Initial conversations of skills-based hiring started some time ago, but now we're at the point where we are seeing more employers put skills-first hiring into practice. We're seeing more learning institutions focusing on skills-based learning. We must provide key stakeholders, our employers, our hiring managers, our educators, with the tools and solutions they need to support talent development. And we need more solutions that support youth and young adult learners. This is why we created the Youth Skills First Entrepreneur in Residence Cohort. At JFF Labs, our Entrepreneur in Residence programs, or our EIR program, is a signature program. In 2021, we introduced cohort-based and theme-driven programs. Our in-residence programs include activities that inspire innovators to fully leverage JFF and JFF Labs experts, networks, and know-how. Activities include structured peer-to-peer learning, mentorship, and intentionally designed learning and processing opportunities to move ideas to implementation quickly and effectively so that we can get new models in the hands of those who need it most. Networking opportunities include connections across JFF, across our organizations, our corporate partners, our entrepreneurs, our policymakers, our educators, our researchers, and our practitioners. Our entrepreneurial programs, we believe, are critical as we seek to achieve JFF's North Star. In 10 years, 75 million people facing systemic barriers to advancement will work in a quality job. I'll now pass it to Ginger, who will share more as we prepare for our pitches. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Christina. Hi, everyone. My name is Ginger Avila. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a director here at Jobs for the Future, leading some of our youth apprenticeship initiatives within the Center of Apprenticeship and Work-Based Learning. Before we introduce you to the amazing innovators in our Youth Skills First Entrepreneur in Residence cohort, we wanted to first set the stage by sharing the why behind this youth-focused cohort. In 2019, JFF was contracted as a youth apprenticeship intermediary by the United States Department of Labor to expand registered apprenticeship to in-school youth ages 16 to 21 through June of 2024. For the last 5 years, we have worked alongside our partners at CareerWise Colorado, the Institute for American Apprenticeships, MACNY, the Manufacturers Association of Central New York, and New America's Partnership to Advance Youth Apprenticeship, to provide technical assistance to the field, develop new programs, expand existing programs, and engage young adults in the registered apprenticeship career pathway. Our goals were to register 900 apprentices, establish one national youth apprenticeship network or one regional hub, and develop or expand 10 registered apprenticeship programs. By the beginning of our final contract year, we had surpassed all of our goals. We've currently registered over 1,400 youth apprentices and developed more than 47 programs. So we found that we were presented with the opportunity to really lean into some fun and innovative activities to advance youth apprenticeship initiatives. In this final contract year, in addition to our usual technical assistance and Youth Apprenticeship Works community of practice activities, we found ourselves in the position to engage in some new and exciting work. We connected with the JFF Labs team to see if there was any collaboration opportunities there. We developed the concept to engage entrepreneurs and small business owners who are already empowering youth and contributing to the elimination of barriers to quality jobs in youth apprenticeship. This is where the idea for the Youth Skills First Entrepreneur in Residence cohort was born. The entrepreneurs you'll be introduced to today have been working together since December to support skills-based talent strategies anchored in youth apprenticeship for individuals primarily between the ages of 16 to 21. With that, I'll turn it over to Heather to present our entrepreneurs in our Youth Skills First cohort.
Thank you so much, Christina, and thank you, Ginger, for your support in this EIR program. It's been transformational for me and for our entrepreneurs as well. This is a really special program because it actually takes the ideas that we're thinking about within JFF and applies them. It applies them in a business setting, it applies them in our communities, and it actually sees which concepts are really going to work and which are the ones that are going to be taking off. So throughout this program, we're able to test, pivot, think about things and apply all the learnings within JFF and work with our entrepreneurs to make them a reality. So with that, we're all excited to hear from our entrepreneurs and their amazing businesses. And we'll start first with Tina Zwolinski and her company, SkillsGap.
Hi, I'm Tina Zwolinski, co-founder and CEO of SkillsGap. Previously, I founded and led a global marketing firm for 25 years focused on workforce and youth. That work revealed the critical need for a better way to connect youth to meaningful careers. Meet my son, Hector. English is his second language, and school was challenging for him. Navigating career discovery and pathways into automotive manufacturing was also challenging, and I knew the workforce systems in place, yet I had a tough time helping him navigate those. There are over 20 million youth graduating from high school over the next 6 years in the US alone. Sadly, half, mostly minority, will end up in low-wage jobs. Yet there are 12 million in-demand jobs that will go unfilled. These are skills-based careers that start at $50,000 a year right out of high school. This is not a people problem. This is an awareness one. And this is important now because there's a significant shift in skills-based hiring happening within these in-demand careers. Currently, these companies are spending $5,000 per hire for entry-level talent. For example, General Dynamics Electric Boat in Rhode Island is hiring 5,000 entry-level talent a year for the next 20 years. That's just one company, $25 million a year. Yet US companies spend $50 billion a year to attract talent based on this Y Combinator stat. Companies are still using the same tactics from 50 years ago, job fairs and job postings. They are not working. Average turnover rates due to mishires are over 60%, and most churn is happening within 24 hours to 2 weeks due to misaligned expectations. Community technical colleges are the pathways into these well-paying in-demand careers, yet 75% of youth never hear about them in or out of school. And 71% of these jobs will require at least a certification from one of these schools. Again, awareness is the challenge. We have a solution. Skillionaire Games, our product that focuses on in-demand career video gaming and taking players from awareness to action through engaging virtual apprenticeship play, where players can try on careers and connect to local opportunities. Our differentiator is our geolocation play. Companies will not pay to move entry-level talent to another location, so connecting locally is a game changer. We started with creating a compelling brand that could grow into a skills-based movement of skillionaires. With 96% of Gen Z playing video games, it's their #1 form of entertainment, we prioritized engaging play equal to what youth were used to by having developers from the world's best gaming brands, Blizzard, Scopely, and we built our games on Unity. We went with mobile first, knowing that 97% of youth have access to smartphones, which helps again with removing barriers, although we also offer web-based play. We worked closely with national industry partners in our game development to understand their needs over the next 5 years. In each of our games, players go through several environments which simulate the real-world work environments. Here in our manufacturing game, they go through R&D, manufacturing, and sustainability. We'll be using AI mentoring to provide personalized career recommendations within the gameplay. And as players play through the environments and levels, they are served local companies, pathways, job descriptions, and salaries, as well as mini games that reinforce on-the-job requirements. They also earn badges based on their efforts and achievements throughout their play. The results? 80% recall on local companies, college, and job descriptions within just 3 levels of play. We provide wraparound support for our players, meeting them in the social communities where they currently are. We are able to provide deeper career support and focus on their passions. It's a space where we can impact the social capital and knowledge gaps. Since we launched leading into 2021, we had interest early on with little marketing efforts. We've reached 30,000 players, received 5 global awards in 22 and 23 when our product was hitting the market. We are selected to be one of 10 companies in South Carolina's first tech accelerator and accepted into this JFF cohort. For scale, we achieved market interest early, validating the need for our product. These 4 regions reached out to deploy a beta test. We are finalists out of 1,900 global applicants for the tools competition, and American Student Assistance has deployed our games on their career platform, and they are reaching over 1 million youth. For traction, our ideal customers are paying for our games now, proof our products can be sold. Our business model is a 2-sided marketplace. Currently, our payers, who we call game changers, pay a yearly subscription. There are several layers focused on awareness and providing opportunities. These payers are the ones desperate to fill jobs or college programs. Government also has workforce line items or grants that are helpful. Our players are called skillionaires. Our games are free to play to all, no barriers, never a charge. We do focus on underserved youth and communities as we see the need that there's most opportunity there to introduce those heading for low-wage jobs and get them introduced earlier to the opportunities our game changers offer in the in-demand fields like life science, pharma, cybersecurity, advanced manufacturing, and healthcare. Our 5-year vision, based on our traction in industry and player insight, we have designed the framework for our Skillionaire Games Hub. There is nothing like this in career awareness and workforce development. It's built based off the Xbox or Nintendo player ecosystem. One account, one space for everything about the player and the opportunities right around the player. We've been intentional on our direction and choices from the start. Barrier-free awareness to action. Within the Skillionaires Hub will be additional revenue streams, from industry partnerships for pre-training before you start the job, to talent recruitment from this vetted pool of talent in our games, which now understand the jobs and industries, less likely to turn over, a very valuable talent pool and data. Here is the team that is moving the vision forward at speed, having meaningful impact and having lived experiences similar to those our players face. The ask today is help us meet our mission of connecting youth to life-changing careers through game-changing play. If you know an enterprise company or a national trade association in healthcare, advanced manufacturing, life science, or cyber, like a Merck or a hospital association, if you would connect us, or if you know colleges or universities within systems or online colleges like WGU, ASU, I would appreciate a connection over there. Or for national youth career initiatives, if you know of a foundation or you are a foundation interested in helping us accelerate this hub, please reach out, as well as any organizations focused on youth like Boys and Girls Club of America or Opportunity at Work that could help accelerate deployment, and also maybe the hub. A connection would be fantastic. Thank you so much. I appreciate you listening today and any connections you'd be willing to make.
Tina, that was an awesome presentation. I can't wait for our audience to hear more about Skills Gap. And it looks like, in looking at the chat, there's a bunch of questions coming in, as well as comments. The first comment says, I was particularly struck by the traction your company has already garnered in the market. It's evident that your team has made significant strides in gaining momentum and attracting attention. Can you elaborate on the traction your company has achieved thus far?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you. So we've developed and deployed 4 career game pilots in just 20 months, which was based on and funded by industry demand. And those include the advanced manufacturing game, which was on screen during the presentation, as well as life sciences, healthcare, and cybersecurity. So those in-demand industries where that skills-based hiring really comes into play. And that speed to market allowed us to be out front in that career gaming space. We've been able to get real-time feedback from our payers, industry, colleges, what they're seeing, what they'd like in the game. And then from our players, is it fun? Is it sticky? Are they learning about new opportunities, which I shared in the game? Just within 3 levels of play, they're able to do that. We've also been able to test our product market fit on the pricing model of the different levels that we offer for that subscription model, and really getting that fit during that time period, which was really helpful. It resulted in those award-winning the games and the awards that I shared during the presentation, as well as already starting to get, moving into the renewals from those that joined. So a lot of traction pretty quickly in the space.
Thank you for that. And looking at the next one, it says, I guess they want to know about your funding. So has your company secured any funding today? Could you kind of talk about that for us?
Yeah. So to date, we've bootstrapped in the times that we're in, and just entirely, except I do want to share, we had 2 angel investors that kept coming back and asking to be a part of what we're doing because they believed in it so much. And one of those worked with Facebook and Instagram very closely with Zuckerberg on the stories, AI development for youth, and then later had a company that was acquired by Twitter. And so for us, that was a game changer to be a part of our team. And so as we look to the future, it would help scale us quickly in some of the things that I shared today. And so we'll be exploring what's next, either with partnerships or looking towards funding.
That's awesome. Well, I would like this next question, and I'm excited for you to answer it. It says, in today's competitive landscape, it's essential for companies to not only be aware of their competitors, but also to understand what differentiates them in the market. They want you to discuss your competitors and what sets your company apart from them.
Yeah, while there are others really in gaming is starting to really gain traction in all areas and combined with AI. I would say that in the space, there are different STEM gaming companies focused on in-school, and where our differentiator is really focused on in and out of school, where we can really engage youth at home in their environments to really do deeper discovery. But our key differentiator is that geospecificity in the play. So connecting those players to the local companies right around them that are in those industries, as well as the pathways to a community college certification, or even a 4-year if they discovered that that was something that they wanted to go on to. So that connectivity from our background in workforce would be the differentiator that I would talk mostly about.
That's awesome. Okay, this next comment says, your pitch highlighted the exciting potential of your company, showcasing the innovative solutions you're bringing to the market. But they would like to know more about what your company's most pressing needs are.
Our most pressing needs are relationships. We're coming off from pilots, and in order to be able to scale quickly, help fill the jobs, reach as many youth as possible to put in these jobs and have these careers, it would be enterprise company relationships that are looking to fill their pipeline and have talent that understands, a good fit for those jobs. Colleges that have programs that are looking to fill them and to keep the talent and then move them through to placement. And then nonprofits that really want an engaging career platform for their youth to do that discovery, or foundations that are looking to have one to take to their partners and use at a larger scale. So that's the core area right now, is just we have something that's been vetted in the market, but now let's get it out to as many as possible and get it moving quickly.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I think we have time for just one more. And this next one's about your deployment strategy. Someone would like to know, how is your game deployment strategy structured?
Yeah. So during those couple years of testing that I shared a few minutes ago, really discovered that direct to youth creates the most engagement with our players. So we focus first on direct to youth and reaching them out of school and environments to keep them engaged, and regular contests to keep that stickiness going. We also partner with nonprofits. Urban League was a big partner of ours, as well as even Girl Scouts earning the STEM badge by earning one of the badges in our game. And there's the opportunity. We provide toolkits and really work sessions to train them to help go deeper with their youth, to really use them as part of their program. So that's been a really successful deployment as a second stage. And then third, it's free for schools and those that are looking for things to be parallel to what they're doing in school, as well as use them for in-school programming. That's been successful too. So really in that order of priority is where we see success, and then offering it free to all of those to have use of.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, and appreciate you answering the questions. I am going to bring back on Heather Terenzio to introduce our next entrepreneur.
Thank you, Lauren. Thank you so much, Tina. So excited to see where you're going to take Skills Gap next. Our next presenter today is Keegan Moldenhauer, and his company is Internship on Demand, an exciting new company looking at internships and how we can implement them better into our smaller companies within the US. Keegan?
Hi, my name is Keegan. I'm the co-founder and the CEO of Internship on Demand. Internship on Demand is early talent hiring made easy, effective, and scalable. We started Internship on Demand over 2 years ago with a simple mission in mind, solving a problem I had as a college student. I entered college, both my parents are entrepreneurs, but we didn't have the network in engineering to unlock internship or co-op opportunities that all too often is how people find that first professional experience. I then spent the next 2 years in college leading a student organization that helped engineering undergrads find their first professional experience. It was that opportunity, working with students and local businesses to help them solve problems that they needed support for, that I saw an opportunity to help students figure out what the next steps were in their career. Internship on Demand is our solution to making the college to career pipeline more equitable and more accessible for students, while also making hiring and retention more successful for employers. The problem is today that college today teaches their students to be good students, not good employees. This makes recruiting a massive headache, a massive time, and a massive capital cost for employers trying to hire the right entry-level hires into their organization. Currently, some of the world's most well-known and forward-thinking brands are building custom workarounds to solve their early talent sourcing. This is the idea of the pre-internship program, whether it's Meta University, KPMG's pre-hire program, or the Amazon Next program. All of these programs target first and second year college students, instruct on the core foundational soft skills and professional skills, as well as showcase the company culture at those organizations before candidates move in there, and so that employers or hiring managers at these organizations can grow their talent pipeline. Until today, this has only been available to these large brands with large HR teams and budgets. Until now, Internship on Demand delivers custom virtual pre-internships, solving recruiting challenges for any business. Now, small businesses, medium-sized businesses can compete for top talent like they're a Fortune 100 organization. Internship on Demand pre-internships are focused on converting pre-interns into the company's early talent programs. The Internship on Demand pre-internships are cohort-based learning, are 100% virtual and scalable, meaning we can meet students where they are and create an easy, simple lift for our employer partners. The entire experience from pre-internship application, completing your programming, and moving into the employer's internship or early talent program is all hosted on our platform. We focus on 2 pillars of curriculum in the pre-internship: soft and professional skills, and culture-specific curriculum that showcases that organization's culture and values directly to candidates. On our platform, pre-internships source, upskill, and match all in one, completely white labeled to represent the brand and the experience a candidate would go in as an intern. Pre-internships are an extension of that internship and on-site experience. Candidates will go through resume development, informational interviews with company champions, and have an opportunity to understand, hey, is this the right culture for me? Is this the right organization I want to invest in? And employers are able to say the same thing. This is our next generation. This is our future leaders. Let's bring them on board now and invest in them for the future. We're already seeing success across the market. Our pre-internships are a proven tool to early talent outcomes. Internship on Demand alumni find internship and co-op participation at twice the national average. Employers who enact a pre-internship see up to 50% more applications, not only across the target role, but across all roles at their organization. And they see up to 3 times more diversity among their candidates by accessing the pre-internship as an on-ramp into their organization. We have a massive opportunity to solve huge problems in early talent. Our initial go-to-market is small, medium-sized businesses hiring engineering, technical talent like IT, software developers, and data scientists. We want to be able to expand our programming beyond college to career in just these spaces to add more tools for small businesses and eventually get into enterprise companies, because we see the impact as a monumental opportunity to get candidates into the right companies for them. We've launched our MVP beginning of January 2023. We've seen fit across both sides of our platform and are scaling that here in 2024. We're excited to be a JFF Youth Skills Accelerator company and have a ton of awesome goals that we want to accomplish in 2024 and 2025 based on our pipeline, the progress we've made connecting with employers, universities, and students. We have a strong team who knows it's ready to change hiring for the better. My co-founder and I, our engineers, recovering engineers, we know the challenges that students face, finding opportunities. And our core developer, Ben, has been an awesome help as we built this product from the ground up, put it in front of users, gotten tons of feedback from students, employers, and our university partners. We have a strong team of advisors with decades of recruiting experience, entrepreneurship experience, and digital product leadership. Folks on our board have been our customer, have sold to our customer, have launched and scaled businesses and exited them. We're confident that with our core team and the advisors we built here and the hires we want to make over the next year or two, we can really grow this business and have the impact we see as an opportunity here. Our ask today is we're looking for partners to help solve early talent hiring. If you're a mission-aligned partner on the employer side, currently hiring teams, hiring engineers, developers, IT, accountants, we'd love to talk with you. If there's an opportunity to solve your hiring needs, we can be there for you. Our current customer is medium-sized businesses where getting candidates in the door, improving brand recognition and culture fit is really where we want to focus. We'd also love to talk with Fortune 1000 companies, larger organizations, enterprise talent with a robust internship program. We know there's opportunities there and would love to get in. Also, job seekers and learner partnerships. University and college career centers are our main avenue to connect with candidates. Also, if you're a workforce development organization, career advancement effort, economic impact group, or even government initiatives focused on early talent, learners, youth skills, we want to be there. I think there's some opportunities for us to work together. You can connect with us here on the QR code. We're also meeting with investors as we look to raise our pre-seed round later this year. Thank you for the time. Excited to chat more about Internship on Demand and how we're refixing or rethinking early talent hiring.
Keegan, that was a great pitch, and I'm looking forward to getting into some of these questions that are coming in from our audience. And looking through the chat, this first one says, someone mentioned that they see several startups working in the early identification space. What makes your company and your pre-internship program unique?
Yeah. Thanks, Lauren. Good question. We really think about what makes our programming, our platform unique is our approach towards putting company culture and professional skills and soft skills first. Our university partnerships, the students on our platform is primarily made up of Gen Z students, and so is the college population. When we look at what Gen Z is interested in and what's important to them for their career, it's very different than previous generations. the number one factor in job decisions post-graduation is culture. We've made sure companies and given them that platform to share their culture first, so that not only can candidates learn about what is this company, what is this community, what am I getting myself into post-graduation, but our employers can also say, hey, this candidate, this is our future employee, they fit our values, they fit our culture. Let's invest in them now. And that's how we think we're different than some of the other players in early identification and in early talent.
Perfect. I appreciate you sharing more about that. Looking at the next one, someone mentioned that in recent years, there's been a noticeable trend among employers towards incorporating pre-internship programs into their talent acquisition strategies. This person would like to know, for an employer interested in adding pre-internship, what are some of the reasons you're seeing them sign on for this?
Yeah, we definitely see like more of the big players. I mentioned it in my presentation, like big companies, Amazon, KPMG, Meta, they all move earlier and earlier in pre-internships because there is so much competition for great talent. And we really want to be able to give that pre-internship to a team of 3 or 4 HR members and a smaller budget if they don't have the budget or the time of a Meta or an Amazon to build that pre-internship program. And we've really seen, for the customers that we're working with, there's typically 3 big areas of focus. The first one being improving brand recognition. There are so many awesome companies and brands that candidates and students just don't know about. When you go to the career fair, there's not a line at those organizations. So building their brand, getting in front of candidates is where we've seen opportunities to help. The second one is improving candidate diversity for those early talent hires. Oftentimes, just the way our ATS systems, recruiting models are built, a lot of diverse background students are filtered out. So the pre-internship is an awesome on-ramp for those candidates. And the third is really improving some of the economics around early talent sourcing. It can be a massive time and capital cost to go to career fairs, interview students, and that pre-internship, the vetting and the connection that happens in the program can be a huge time improvement, saving twice the interview time or just getting more candidates into the pipeline.
Perfect. Thanks for that. And this is a great follow-on comment and question. I'm going to paraphrase a little, but it says, in today's competitive job market, employers are continuously seeking innovative ways to attract and retain top talent. And as you've discussed in your presentation, one strategy gaining momentum is the implementation of pre-internship programs, offering students valuable pre-professional experience, as we've talked about today, while providing employers with a pipeline of skilled candidates. And they want you to talk a little bit more about, what does the lift for an employer look like to build and launch a pre-internship?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, we're all here today to make that education to career gap smaller and make it more successful. So we really think it comes with making it successful and easy for the employers. If they're willing to offer programs, if they're willing to build these programs, it just means more opportunities for candidates. They can fill these open roles, and in the end, there's that flywheel of success that happens for the candidate and the employer side. For us on our platform, we try to make that lift as low as possible for employers, especially for those teams who don't have massive budgets and massive teams to build out pre-internships from scratch. All of our content on the platform is either pre-built or incredibly easy to build yourself. You can import content that you already have at your organization. Our team and our platform does all of the sourcing and the marketing to our university partners, to our nonprofit partners, to our student representing groups. We can typically build that pre-internship in 2 to 3 calls, and we're able to get a marketing page up and in front of students and our career center partners in just under a week. So we can really get in front of students, start to promote these opportunities, and make sure that employers who are thinking about a pre-internship have a low barrier to entry, can get that pre-internship up and running and get it integrated into their early talent strategy to make those hires and to find those future managers, leaders for their company.
Perfect. And you've talked a lot about the employer side. Someone in the chat would like to, see the student perspective. So how are you seeing students leverage these experiences for career education or career opportunity?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's been really exciting. I mean, we started internship on demand, excuse me, with the bet that if we made it easier for students, for learners to just get connected into companies and careers that they may have never heard about, we'd see more diverse applicants, we'd see better outcomes, and 2 years in, we've seen that. Our program alumni find internships at twice the national average. Our candidates and our alumni consistently report up to 30% improvements in career confidence. They can say, hey, I have the skills, I have an improved resume, I know how to get in front of a company and turn that into an internship or turn that into a full-time job. And it's been really exciting now. We're seeing students who've done their internship and they now have full-time jobs. And I think for us in this future of work, in rethinking education, that's the most exciting thing, is connecting with our students who have said, I never would have thought I could be an engineer and make $60,000, $70,000, $80,000. And for us, that's kind of what keeps us going. And that's the cool part about what we get to do.
Thank you. I would love to end on this one. So someone wants to know what the vision is for internship on demand, especially like as you look ahead over the next several years.
Yeah. I mean, it's exciting. I think staying focused is the name of the game at this stage. But I think long term for us, we see the pre-internship and this kind of college to career space just being a product of a larger organization. We want to be able to take the curriculum, career exploration, company connection into the high school space, being able to let learners and students at that stage start thinking about the kind of careers that they could be a good fit for. I mean, we see that in STEM, where students will self-select out of STEM careers, education, STEM careers, engineering, software, very early on. We want to make that education and that connection accessible. And we also see a ton of downstream potential, where if a candidate and an employer have made that connection in the pre-internship, we can service and support the internship experience as well as full-time, to be able to provide customized training and learning tools for the candidate as they go through that entire employee experience. We really see like that kind of high school, college, and then into the career space as an awesome opportunity for us to play, continue to develop career paths, continue to help out both sides of that equation. So excited for what's to come over the next couple of years, and the JFF team has been awesome as we kind of get our foot under us and kind of move forward there.
I know we're really excited to see where internship on demand goes. Thank you so much for that. Turning it back over to Heather to introduce our next entrepreneur.
Thank you so much, Keegan. Thanks, Lauren. Keegan, I love the way you're thinking about using internships to create amazing on-ramps for people who might not have those kinds of opportunities. So thank you for starting this company and for opening up all these different opportunities for folks. Next, we'll go to Brianna Brazel, who's the CEO and founder of Culture Lancer. Culture Lancer is helping companies to source talent to fuel their growth and thinking about it in a really different kind of way. Brianna?
Hello, my name is Brianna, and I would like to welcome you to the world of Culture Lancer. We're not just envisioning the future of work, we're actively building it. Our mission is to empower the next generation to discover and thrive in the careers of tomorrow. Imagine for a second that you're graduating college and you have high hopes that you're going to find your dream job, only to find out that the skills that you have don't match any of the current job markets. This is the reality for 52% of today's graduates, whom face underemployment and wasted potential. The traditional systems are failing our students, leaving them unprepared and unsupported as the world around them evolves at an unprecedented pace. This affects not just their career trajectory, but their economic growth and individual prosperity. Culture Lancer is addressing this through WayPaths, our AI-powered solution that provides dynamic skills mapping and real-time career pathway adjustments, ensuring that students are not just job ready, but they're future-proof. Behind Culture Lancer is a team driven by a shared vision, a vision that was inspired by my own experiences of underemployment post-college graduation. and nearly 20 years of seeing gaps in primary to post-secondary classrooms firsthand. Together with experts in data science, AI, education, and career services, we're deeply committed to turning our vision into reality, bringing together decades of experience and bringing together our decades of experiences to achieve this. Over the past year, we've conducted extensive interviews and research within educational and employment sectors, which reveal a stark gap. A gap that is also an urgent call for a solution that is able to adapt as fast as industries and prepare students for these adaptations through supplements in hard and soft skill development. Culture Lancer is that solution. We offer instant adaptation and a lifelong impact. If we think about how students are preparing and searching for jobs today, using traditional services like the University Career Service, or platforms such as Handshake and LinkedIn, which all connect students to opportunities, but they don't address the root problem, which is that skills gap. Cultural Answer is proactive and adaptive in its approach. We don't just bridge the gap, we focus on what's causing the gap and anticipate and fill it before it can widen. We're tapping into a $220 billion market where the demand for real-time adaptable career education is booming. Our initial focus is the state of Texas, where it alone represents $508 million opportunity. And we're uniquely positioning ourselves to capture this market and grow there, with our first channel being minority serving institutions, specifically historically Black colleges and universities, and the startup ecosystem across the state. Over the next 6 months, we are focusing on enhancing our version 1, which is already out there, and improving those core feature sets, which are the career paths, which are aligned horizontally across industry, skills mapping, which we've discussed is augmented for real-time updates that align with an individual's value system and their core competencies, and skills development, which are hands-on projects and apprenticeships from our small business partners. We offer a community subscription model, which is the key to unlocking this world. It's tailored to fit the needs of educational institutions and businesses, as we bridge the gap, creating a continuous cycle of learning, application, and growth for our emerging talent. Our traction underscores the potential and market readiness. With over an average of 6,000 organic website visits monthly, a user base of over 300, which includes 90 small business partners. We've also established partnerships with 4 major players, which include Google, that supports our training competencies, and we're actively participating in notable accelerators such as Jobs for the Future. These achievements are strong signals that our solution is on track to addressing critical needs in career development. Additionally, we have a promising user pipeline of 18,000 and a growing revenue stream, which is projected to reach 16,000 in monthly recurring revenue by August. Further, we are demonstrating an expanding impact and scalability for our platform. Cultural Answer is not just reacting, we are anticipating and preparing and leading a charge toward a more inclusive, skilled, and adaptable workforce. Today, we are seeking partners, collaborators, supporters, who are as passionate as we are in transforming the future of work and preparing emerging talent for this future. We're also looking for support as we launch our pre-seed round of funding. And we know that together we can build a workforce that is resilient, adaptable, and ready for the challenges of tomorrow. I want to thank you for this opportunity, and I look forward to your questions.
Hi, Brianna. Really enjoyed hearing your pitch. And I'm scrolling through the chat, and I like this first comment to kind of open this up. It says, your pitch for Culture Lancer really resonated with me. What inspired the creation of Culture Lancer, and how does your personal or professional background influence its mission?
Yeah, thank you, first of all, for that question. It's a good question, but it's also very loaded. It came from my own personal experience, which I shared. I had, after graduating, I experienced 8 years of underemployment, despite following the formula. Like, you go to school, you make good grades, you do internships, you do all those things. And I was on paper a great candidate in a sense, but I didn't have the skills. And over the years, I recently had a conversation over the weekend, actually, with a good friend of mine who we graduated around the same time. And her experience in college was a little different than mine. She had to work 3 jobs and go to school full time. And she's now kind of like in a crisis, like in this mid state of, I don't know what to do. I don't know like what skills are needed. So it's also stories like that fuel this mission. Like, how are we continuously creating awareness around what the opportunities are, and how are we building people or building people's skill sets so that regardless of whatever state and era of life, they're able to live sustainably with careers that they love and enjoy. And so beyond that, that leads directly into my experience. So I spent about 10 years in education, where I really was able to get a wide eye of what's going on, and how we're preparing people from primary to post-secondary school, and the gaps that people are experiencing there. And then the last part of my years, about 8 or 9 years, I've been in mental health. So embedded in our software is empathy, like really understanding an individual's journey, and just their different experiences and how that leads to the different careers that they choose. So yeah, a little bit all over the place.
No, I really appreciate you taking the time to address all of that. And looking at the next one, it says, I'm familiar with traditional career services and existing platforms like Handshake or LinkedIn. They want you to elaborate on how Culture Lancer's technology, particularly WayPass, which you touched upon, differs from these existing platforms.
Yeah, so all of those are great. One of the main issues that we found was just a lack of awareness. So traditionally, when people go to career services, they're looking for opportunities, right? And same thing with LinkedIn, and Handshake. Most of them, they provide a level of opportunity in terms of like job placement or job boards, in some instances, networking experiences. But when an individual doesn't know not necessarily what they want to do, but what is available within the industry, it's kind of hard to even narrow down like who's the right person I need to talk to, what's the right skill set that I need. So that's really where we fill in that gap, and where WayPass works to do that by helping an individual understand, one, just their internal values, what are things that they really love just naturally, and how does that lead to a skill, and then what does that skill look like in an industry perspective, and what are the opportunities that exist within that perspective.
Perfect. Thank you. Looks like we have a fellow entrepreneur on the call. They said that they're an entrepreneur as well and embarking on a similar venture. And they want you to talk about some of the biggest challenges you face while developing and scaling Culture Lancer, and how you've addressed them.
Yeah, so we have a big vision. Our vision is to really like illuminate career paths across industry. And that was a huge challenge to like really boil that down into like, where's the starting point for that? And really figuring out like, how do we navigate that? Because I kept coming into like, you have to pick one direction, you have to pick one industry to focus on. And to me, that exasperated the issue. Like, if we only pick one, it still closes millions of people off to what potentials are out there. So what we landed on is understanding that at the end of the day, that all businesses experience some level of need across industry. So what my So our way of addressing that is finding what are the commonalities or something called first principles. What are the first principle of business, regardless of industry, and how can we build on that? Because every business has a building block. So understanding what are the foundations and what are those building blocks and addressing it from that way.
Perfect. Oh, I like this next one. Okay, so it says your presentation on cultural answers shed light on innovative approaches to navigating the ever evolving job market landscape. So in today's fast-paced and dynamic environment, staying ahead of the curve for success obviously is key. So they want you to talk about how Cultural Answer ensures its offerings remain relevant and that you're staying ahead of the curve.
Yeah, so that's also where WavePaths kicks in, where we're really using like big data. Right now, we're tapping into some big data to kind of listen, do some social listening, using AI to understand like what are like key elements that people are talking about, and then we infuse that in the opportunity for individuals to build skill around the conversations that are happening. And we believe that in doing that, we can stay in front of the curve. We can keep our software agile while we're also building agility in users and in emerging talent.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. I am going to turn it back over to Heather. But before I do, if you have questions that we haven't been able to get to, please continue to drop them in the chat, and our entrepreneurs will be scrolling through and trying to answer your questions.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brianna. Cultural Answer is such an important piece of the career pathways space, and we're really excited to see where you take it next. Thank you for that. Next, we have Venki Mandapati, who's the founder and CEO of UpSquad. And we're excited, Venki, to hear about your award-winning programs and events.
Hi, my name is Venki Mandapati, and I'm the co-founder of UpSquad. We help organizations to build and scale youth and adult workforce programs. More than 100 million youth and adults across the US with diverse learning experiences, both from traditional and non-traditional backgrounds, are eligible to benefit from various workforce development programs. However, many workforce organizations and agencies still use fragmented workforce program tools that hinder access to opportunities for these people. Existing or traditional workforce tools doesn't fit how youth and adults learn today. Let's see how UpSquad solves this problem. UpSquad is a workforce management and a knowledge center that helps organizations to engage learners with the cutting-edge technology tools through short-form video content and also help them get expert advice on various career paths. It helps organizations to streamline all their workforce training and programs for apprenticeship, internship, or any other workforce programs. It helps participants to share their learnings and also helps organizations to track their progress throughout the entire program. UpSquad Gen AI Knowledge Center engine will help answer any question on career pathways that is personalized to each and every individual. Now, let's take a look at one of our customers, Arkansas State, running their data science apprenticeship program. As you could see here, they created a unique platform leveraging UpSquad technology that is now helping hundreds of students get access to expert mentors where they're asking questions, learning from each other through peer-to-peer networking, and also have the ability to connect with experts across the state to learn about data science and various career pathways in that field. This is a great learning environment for all learners from diverse backgrounds so that this organization is catering to unique needs of these learners. You have got different opportunities where they could directly apply for jobs in this platform and also share their knowledge and different projects and their insights from their projects as well. As you could see here now, you could also run multiple different programs very seamlessly using UpSquad as your technology platform. We have got several other customers that are running similar programs throughout their entire state, agency, and organization very seamlessly, that is streamlined. We have got more than 20 plus customers across the US that ranges from cities, workforce agencies, universities, schools, associations that are catering to unique workforce pathways for their communities. So how is UpScore different from existing tools? Many of these workforce organizations are leveraging off-the-shelf tools like Slack, Microsoft Teams, and maybe LinkedIn for groups, and so on. However, these are not built for specific and custom workforce ecosystems that each and every community needs. UpScore is uniquely positioned, which is a people-first and industry-specific, where each and every organization with their unique needs could build ecosystems in their communities that could help learners from diverse backgrounds. UpScore leverages B2B SaaS pricing, where each organization pays us based on the number of participants in their programs on an annual basis. As I previously mentioned, UpScore has more than 20 plus organizations with 200K annual recurring revenue. Our projections by the end of this year, we are going to double our revenue to $500,000 with increased sales and marketing. And by the end of next year, we are projecting to have more than 1.5 million annual recurring revenue, serving more than 100 customers across the US that are catering different various workforce, internship, apprenticeship programs to their communities. With our existing partnerships with JFF, City of Evanston, and many other several partners, we could easily help serve more than 100 customers by the end of next year. Our ask is $1 million of funding, which will help us scale our IT infrastructure to help our existing and new customers, and also build GenAI capabilities that will help us grow from 20 to 100 customers in the next 1.5 years. With increased sales and marketing, we are targeting a revenue of $1.5 million by the end of 2025. We are a diverse team with backgrounds in product management, software engineering, and data science. With your support, we could help several hundreds of organizations for years to come to build career pathways in different industries leveraging UpScore technology. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you for that pitch. Let's jump into these questions. Lots of questions and comments coming in. Looking at this first one, kind of a comment that leads into the question. They said, as someone invested in workforce development and efficiency, I've often come across the challenges associated with disconnected workforce systems. And they said these fragmented systems hinder collaboration and communication. And they talk about how it can impede growth and activity. So really what they're getting at here, they want you to talk about your specific pain points of disconnected workforce systems and how UpSquad solutions help overcome them.
Thank you so much, Lauren, for that question. And to kind of like just give a little bit background, I came to the US back in 2015 as a graduate student. And coming here, and I quickly realized there is a huge potential and need even for like domestic students, because there are so many workforce training, apprenticeship programs that a lot of people are already looking for. And one of the biggest challenges that I realized is a lot of organizations or agencies who are running these programs, it's very difficult for them to manage these programs very efficiently because of the siloed tools that they were using. So initially we had a tool that caters to just universities, and especially after pandemic, we pivoted into this huge space and need where workforce organizations are looking for tools that would easily streamline all their programs trainings, especially for youth and adults, to help them get engaged to network, because especially people from underserved communities, one of the biggest challenges for them is to have that circle of influence. They don't necessarily have the networks like maybe you and I do. I think that's what like NUPSCORT started to solve. And then once we started to streamline, one of the other challenges that we noticed that a lot of organizations have is a siloed data, because they wanted insights on the member engagement. What are those learning activities that these programs offer to this audience that are really helping them to get to that next level? So we kind of started looking at streamlining the product, all the tools, and then started to collect the data, how these members are engaging. And then that ultimately helped the organizations to start to look at the impact that they were trying to do or create using these programs. So they could streamline programs and also automate the entire process by really sharing their progress of their programs to the entire organization. So
Thank you for that. Um, This next one, I think you talked a little bit about it in your pitch, but it says, how does UpSquad support City of Evanston's workforce programs?
yeah, so City of Evanston is one of our customers. We have onboarded them 6 months ago. One of the main challenge for City of Evanston is to really streamline all their workforce programs for especially youth and adults from underserved communities. So they were looking at several solutions. So they reached out to us so that we can actually potentially help them. So initially they came up with a strategy of how could we really streamline some of their workforce programs, creating programming around different high quality jobs that are existing in the community. So they want to bring all the different stakeholders, job seekers who are looking for opportunities, employers who have the opportunities and the training needs, and also partners who are working with job seekers in order to help them train in order to get access to these opportunities. So what UpSquad has done is we created a solution for City of Evanston where we have brought in all these different stakeholders in one ecosystem so that job seekers get the training that they would need, and employers could automatically interview candidates once they complete the training, whether it's an apprenticeship, internship, or even a full-time opportunity. And once we have created this solution, we started to see a lot of job seekers, because a lot of workforce organizations, I mean, it's very difficult sometimes for job seekers to go to different websites, different training programs, not really knowing like how they could get the help that they would need. So now City of Evanston has this UpSquad mobile app that is specifically for that community, where now job seekers could easily download the app and look at all the opportunities, training opportunities that they have, so that they can get the education and also apply for jobs directly in this space. So that's how we have helped City of Evanston and continuing to progress along that journey.
Thank you for that. And I think we have time for just one more. I really like this next one just because obviously JFF is looking into AI as well. So this next comment says, as an advocate for innovation and efficiency in workforce, I'm always eager to explore how emerging technologies like artificial intelligence can revolutionize and change traditional approaches. So they want to know what your plan is to leverage AI in UpSquad.
Absolutely. So there are 3 areas that we are looking at how we could leverage an AI to be able to really help job seekers and especially youth in order to get access to high quality training that could help them get the opportunities that they are looking for. One, we are creating a knowledge center. Imagine any job seeker who has a specific question on a specific industry type that they are trying to look to get a job. Now they could simply ask any kind of question within UpSquad. To almost think of it as a chat GPT, right? Where you could have any specific questions on training, on a job opportunity. Now they could self-serve all those needs within UpSquad. Number two, we automatically, based on different information that they provide us, we recommend experts in their communities who are looking to help youth. So we actually match based on different skills that the youth has to experts in their community. So we create a recommendation engine that could match skills based youth to experts. And number three, we are also looking at different ways that the organizations are helping these youth so that we collect all the data to actually show insights directly to the organizations. What are those top level training programs that are really helping any job seeker in their community? So these are the three different areas how we are leveraging AI to be able to really self-serve a lot of workforce needs for different communities. So we have got more than 20 plus customers for leveraging UpSquad. So in these different areas, Lauren.
Thank you so much, Venki. Heather, I'm turning it back over to you to introduce our next entrepreneur.
Thank you so much, Venki. I love hearing about your traction. I love the service that you're providing to workforce centers, and excited to see your growth coming in the next couple of months and years. Next, we have Dr. Dennis Johnson, who's with the application, and he is transforming the way that HBCU students get into the workforce.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this wonderful presentation. This presentation is going to be about HBCU 20 by 20 in the application. And thank you so much for joining us on this demo day. My name is Dr. Dennis Johnson. I am the Senior Vice President of Programs and Partnerships at HBCU 20 by 20 in the application. And before I actually, provide an overview of who we are as an organization, I would like to provide background on why we are who we are and how we came to be. So the application, or should I say HBCU 20 by 20, was founded in 2017 by our president and CEO, Nicole Tinton. This was a young lady who went to Dillard University, an HBCU in New Orleans, and after that she went to Yale. And what she noticed is that the companies that came to Yale to recruit came with red carpet and champagne, literally. And these companies never came to her HBCU. So she created HBCU 20 by 20 to balance the playing field. The goal was to bring HBCU students the same type of resources as those who attended Ivy Leagues and public white institutions. In other words, the goal was to employ 20,000 HBCU students by year 2020. However, we've expanded. That 20,000 is now a database of 25,000 Black and Brown students all over the country, representing around 10 countries, over 600 corporate partners, as well as many programs and resources with the goal of really securing Black and Brown talent with the opportunities they deserve. So, from 2017 all the way up until now, we've expanded to serve those who are outside the HBCU community. And we now reside under the umbrella of the application to serve not only the HBCU community, but the Black and Brown community who do not attend HBCUs. So our shared values are liberation, innovation, Blackness, and community. We believe that we want to make sure that we're able to break those glass barriers and make sure that they stay broken by creating pipelines, being innovative in the way we do so, as in not, necessarily following the same strategies and the same approaches as everyone else, but, using those and perfecting them. Blackness, we are a Black organization with a Black woman as our CEO. And we want to remember our roots and where we came from, and also why we do the work that we do, and also community. It takes a village. And when I say it takes a village, it takes universities, it takes employers, it takes nonprofits, for-profits, blue chip corporations. It takes all us, coming together to really, really ensure that we're able to create this world of diversity that we seek. Now, how exactly do we support the community? So what I'm about to walk you all through is basically our flow chart when it comes to programs. So first we start with the free college application program. Now this program provides free college applications to students who may be graduating high school, who are community college students looking to enter a four-year university, or even transfer students within four-year universities, or those who have graduated looking to go to grad school. So we provide free college applications. And what these do is that a student can apply to college, submit one application, and it goes to multiple universities for free. We don't charge the universities or the students. Our goal with this is to be able to capture the students early, to be able to track them and support them throughout their academic and professional career. While this application is going on, my team and I, we are traveling all around the countries, well, all around the country, I should say, visiting multiple HBCUs. And the cool thing about these HBCU tours, in which I will talk about later, is that it allows us to have a direct communication with the students in which we serve every day. It allows us to get their contact information. It allows us to, really, really have our foot in what's going on when it comes to the curriculum, connecting that curriculum to the opportunities that we have, and also really understanding the interests of the students and the demographics that we serve. Um, Being on these tours allows us to get the students within our database. While they're in our database, we're going to make sure they're supported with mock interviews, as in they may be interviewing with someone from the vice president of the legal department at Apple, or interviewing with someone from Slack, or someone with, let's say, PricewaterhouseCoopers, or who knows. And these mock interviews allow students to have an experience unlike no other. They get 30 to 60 minutes speaking with a high level executive or HR rep from that specific company. They are able to develop their interviewing skills because they get feedback at the end, but they also get a mentor, career guidance, and most importantly, we are honestly serving them by building their network, by connecting them to someone within an industry or within an occupation in which they hope to be in one day. After these mock interviews, we are like, okay, the student's prepared. They have taken interest. They are within our professional development programs. Let's get them into some apprenticeships and into some fellowships. So our apprenticeship program, the whole goal of this is to promote dual enrollment. We want students who are college students to be enrolled in an apprenticeship at the same time because we know they have the time to do so. And we're going to talk about why we need your help with this specific program later, because these apprenticeships are key. We see students walk away with degrees, but we need something that shows specifically that they have the skill to do the job in which they're applying for. After this apprenticeships come our fellowship programs. Now, fellowship programs are bread and butter, is what we're known for. These programs are 4 to 8 weeks long, and what they do is they professionally develop the students with a mixture of soft and hard skills. That means if a student, let's say, wants to go into Adobe or Autodesk, for example, right? They're going to learn about the program languages these companies use. They're going to learn about how to pass the hacker rank, the culture within these companies, but most importantly, how to get in and succeed. In other words, this is the early entry of the early entry program that they have, and they're also paid. And for our graduate students, in which we have a lot of them, they probably make up, I'll say, around 15 to 20% of our database. We have a research institute. We sponsor the research that they will be conducting, as well as transportation to conferences and other additional resources that they may need. Now, when we're on an HBCU campus, the experience is unlike no other. And this is coming from someone, or I would say a team that has visited 64 HBCUs. We have traveled over 17,000 miles, hosted over 275 workshops, and engaged with more than 75,000 students since we developed um, in 2017. And within this experience, our whole goal is we're not going to sit there and table. We're going to go to the students. That means that we may be knocking on your dorm door. We may be within the classroom, hosting a classroom takeover, just like our lunchroom takeovers. We may work with the professors to allow us to honestly host a lecture for the day because we're able to connect the curriculum to whatever opportunity that we have. And we bring our employer partners with us so they can really talk about, hey, this is what this specific theory or this specific practice looks like on a day-to-day life or within the operations of the specific company. We also host headshots. We give them career advice, and honestly, just provide an overall good time to be able to interact with the students and get them into our database. And we want you all to come. These are some of the partners that we have worked with. Some of them have been a part of that really, really cool HBCU 20 by 20 tour that I just previously talked about. So we have over 600 corporate partners. We are in every industry, from animation to biotechnology, you name it. And our corporate partners, they truly believe in diversity and they truly believe in us. And we want to add on to this. So this screen here is just some of our big partners. In addition to our corporate partners, we've been all over in the media. I'll look at, our team as a small team with a national footprint. We never stop moving. We never stop, I would just say succeeding. And we always believe that we can do more. And fortunately, we've been recognized by the companies you see here today for the work that we do. So why are you here today? We have a huge ask. Now, our ask specifically is that we want you all to join our apprenticeship program, which is totally free. And that means that we want you to either host or tell an employer about us. In other words, come on campus with us, host one of these virtual apprenticeship programs we have. Next semester, specifically fall 2024, we will be visiting 35 minority serving institutions, HBCU and non-HBCU. We're going to be taking our apprenticeship partners with us, but also hosting virtual workshops at these HBCUs and other minority serving institutions. While we're doing this, we need those who host registered apprenticeships to come along with us. We need them to provide these virtual workshops to show students what an actual apprenticeship look like within a specific occupation. But also, more importantly, really telling them about what an apprenticeship is on their level. So what an apprenticeship looks like in Alabama may be totally different in California. And the cool thing about this is that we're going to be visiting every state. Like we're going to be all over. So it doesn't matter if they're in Idaho or if they're in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, we're going to have opportunities for them. And we want to be able to connect the students who go through our apprenticeship program with someone who's hosting an apprenticeship. So please, 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 let's join us. Let's really, really make this happen. And only thing we need from you is just spread the word. Let's connect. Let's set up a meeting. Let's make this happen. In addition to hosting an apprenticeship, another way for them to give back is just host a mock interview as well. So once the students are done with their actual virtual apprenticeship, on their last day, and this is a 3-day program, they're going to be allowed to participate in a mock interview. And we want that mock interview to be with someone who is hosting a registered apprenticeship. And, in order for that to happen, we need you to spread the word, spread the word, spread the word, meet with us, connect with us so that we can make this happen. Because not only do we want the student to experience this program, we want them to apply to the actual apprenticeship once they're done with our workshops. And again, you can learn more by contacting me, Dr. Dennis Johnson. My email is dennis@hbcu20x20.org. You can learn more about us at theapplication.org, and I am here to answer any questions that you may have. Don't be a stranger. There's no such thing as a wrong question, and myself and my team is here to help. Let's join our apprenticeship program, and let's make history. Thank you so much for your time.
Hi, Dr. Dennis. Thanks so much for your pitch. Let's get into these chat questions and comments. There's a lot coming in. This first one says, your presentation shed light on an intriguing opportunity with your apprenticeship program. You showcase the potential for hands-on learning and skill development. They want to know how they can learn more about the apprenticeship program.
Definitely. I think the best way to learn is just to schedule a one-on-one meeting with me. My email is dennis@hbcu20x20.org. Also, you can Google us, the application hbcu20by20.org. We're here. Our whole goal is to meet you where we're at. So it could be virtual or in person. As mentioned during the presentation, we spend a lot of time on the road, at least 17,000 miles on a year, so you never know in which we may be in a city or a state near you.
Perfect. Thanks for that. And looking at this next one, it says, for me, your pitch highlighted the impactful work your organization is doing to serve specific populations. And you drew attention to the importance of addressing their unique needs and challenges. So as someone deeply committed to fostering inclusivity and equity, they're intrigued by the population you're dedicated to serving. So they'd like for you to take a minute and talk more about that particular population.
Definitely. So, originally we started off specifically serving the HBCU community. But if you look at all the Black college students, right, in the country, around 12% of them attend HBCUs, the rest don't, which really forced us to expand. Reason being is because we kept hitting this glass ceiling. We had students applying to our programs in which we couldn't kind of accept because our partners had officially agreed to only accept in pipeline HBCU students. Fortunately, last year with the expansion into the application, we're able to serve all Black and brown students, and now we will be traveling to around 35 minority serving institutions come fall 24. I think the cool thing about the population we serve and why we serve them is because we understand what they go through. Like the data has remained the same, as we say, the numbers don't lie. And also we stay, with our ear to the students, to the population we serve. So one of the things about, us expanding and going into certain industries, we speaking to students trying to figure out what is it that they want to do in the future and exactly how can we assist. And with that being said, we use that to really guide us when it comes to what employer partners we should go after, what, some of the things we should start pushing professionals to teach or talk about in the class, and what we should be bringing in financially to be able to assist these students.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Let's see. This next one says, we've heard a lot today about the landscapes of apprenticeship programs and how they're diverse and dynamic. They want to know what makes you unique compared to the other organizations.
Definitely. Our goal is a little different. I think the first thing we're starting with is just the marketing of apprenticeships overall. I think is to let students know who are enrolled in college that this is something accessible and possible, to you. What we've seen is that in our 6 years of experience with an HBCU 20 by 20 in the application is that the first year of school, right, for college for the students as a freshman, there's like 30, 35 students in the class. It's not enough desks. The last year, as in senior year graduation, it's around 9 students in that same class. What happened to all those students before? Our goal is to be able to not only capture those seniors, but to capture those students who didn't make it there and promote dual enrollment from day one. Dual enrollment is them being a full-time or part-time student, but also being enrolled in apprenticeship at the same time because we know they have the time. There's virtual apprenticeships out there that exist. There are apprenticeships located in their local community once they return home. So that's number one that's different is that we're promoting dual enrollment. Number two is the marketing, which I talked about earlier. We want students to know that there's money in apprenticeships, there's opportunities in apprenticeships, and at the end of the day, skills depending on what industry you go into may be louder than your actual degree. And that's something that's not really talked about in the communities we serve, but them having that apprenticeship really shows that the employer or the person who may be looking over the application that they have the skill that's needed to succeed, and which is something what we're going to be pushing. And with that comes the marketing, as in going over the stereotypes, the history of the Black and brown community being pushed towards the trades, and letting them know that, like, hey, that's no longer it. Like, we're going to rewrite this future and it's going to be right. Well, write the future and it's going to be right.
Perfect. Thanks for that. And I think we have time just for one more. And this one looks like it's based upon your fellowship program. So it says, what companies have participated in your fellowship programs? Based upon your presentation, it wasn't clear.
Oh, definitely. So a lot. I think our biggest fellowships now are probably our MGen Biotechnology Fellowship, in which students who've actually gone through that fellowship have been hired. And not only have they been hired, they've now been hired into an apprenticeship position with MGen. For those who don't know, MGen is one of the largest biotechnology companies in the world. So that's a biotechnology fellowship we have now, but we're in every industry from animation to biotechnology. We've had a DreamWorks Animation Fellowship, a partnership with them. We currently have an Autodesk Fellowship already for graduate students in software engineering. We have a finance fellowship available for US Bank. We've done things with Microsoft. We've done things with Stripe. We've done things with, so many, I think, amazing, brilliant companies that's looking to really create the early entry programs to us. We have around 600 like corporate partners overall. And if you go on our website, we have a list of those in which we are partnered with. But our whole goal when it comes to our partners is to make sure that we're able to renew, as in we want you to come back over and over again, because that's how you build your brand within the HBCU and Black and brown community.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. And such an exciting high note to end on. Heather, I'm turning it back over to you to introduce our final entrepreneur.
Thank you, Dr. Dennis. That was so inspiring. Love the work that you're doing, and just so impressed with the breadth and scope and how big you've gone so quickly. So congratulations to you. Next, we have Chinedu Ichiro, who's the founder and CEO of Talented.ai. And he's got a really interesting company at the intersection of AI and apprenticeships and high technology. Chinedu, we're super excited to hear from you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me. My name is Chinedu Echoro. I'm the CEO and founder of Talented. I'm very excited to share with you our story. Okay, so what is Talented? So Talented is an AI-powered apprenticeship platform. We're only focused or exclusively focused on 16 to 24-year-olds who live in distressed hub zone communities in the United States. And our goal is to create a structured pathway to opportunity for these young souls. So why distressed communities? There are approximately 50 million U.S. residents who live in these distressed communities, and they face a whole host of challenges, as you see listed here. And while this has been a challenge for decades, there's an opportunity to use artificial intelligence to orchestrate end-to-end transformation for these young kids, from recruiting all the way to wraparound services, and to make sure that they go through the journey of transformation as we all want. And so what does that mean? The AI does everything, literally everything. So the AI helps find the talent in hub zone communities, and then the AI helps them go through a structured pre-apprenticeship program, and then a structured apprenticeship program. And all while all this is happening, there are wraparound services. The AI coordinates the wraparound services with mentorship, social services, etc. So they actually go through the process of transformation, and we can get them to the other end. And AI is the best way to accomplish this. Okay, so who are our customers? Well, we're focused, as I mentioned, we're only focused on hub zone communities, and right now there are approximately 6,000 certified hub zone companies who have access to approximately $20 billion of federal government contracts. And for them to maintain those contracts, they have to fill certain requirements. One of which is to make sure that they're employing 35% of their employees from these distressed communities. So we help them make sure they can continue achieving those goals by making sure that they can hire locally from these communities. So why now? So as Measure of America has highlighted in one of their reports, there are approximately 5 million disconnected youth in the United States. So those are young kids who are not working and not in school. And to balance that, there's approximately 1.5 million open tech jobs. So how do we bridge that gap between disconnection and opportunity? And I think artificial intelligence is a gift for us to do that. Obviously, there are different types of AI, and ChatGPT, while it's wonderful, cannot solve this problem. So we need a new approach, and that's what we're using right now. And as I've mentioned, apprenticeships are now known to be a viable pathway to opportunity. So what's the market potential? So the economic cost of youth disconnection is incredibly high, and there's been recent movement on the federal level as well as the state level to fund alternative pathways to employment. The $3 billion pending National Apprenticeship Act is one of them. Okay, so how do we fit in the grander scheme of the workplace? So there are existing apprenticeship intermediaries currently working, but our differentiation is that we're entirely AI powered, and we can therefore coordinate the stakeholders in a way that humans can't. We learn from every interaction, so we can take learnings from Newark and apply it to Chicago. and we can therefore roll this nationally at scale. Okay, as I mentioned, so what we do is the AI would coordinate the apprentices, the employers, the schools, the mentors, and again, the wraparound services to make sure that we're really paying attention to the young kids and really helping them through their different challenges, from involvement with the justice system to transportation to childcare. So what's our revenue model? So we charge between $10,000 and $25,000 for pre-apprenticeships and apprenticeships, and our metrics are aligned with the Department of Labor metrics for apprenticeships. And the market opportunity is large, as I mentioned. So in the New York City metro area alone, there are approximately 1.5 million residents of these distressed communities, all looking for opportunities to gain economic wealth. So what's our roadmap to national scale? So we haven't yet launched. We're still in the MVP phase. But by next year, in the next 24 months, we will have launched in Newark, and a year after that, extended to the New York City metro, which is the largest economic region in the country. And then once we solve that, then we can obviously roll this out at national scale. So thank you very much. As I mentioned, we are in the seed phase, and we are currently raising 5 to 10 million for our first round. I look forward to connecting with you on this. Thank you very much.
Chindu, thanks so much for that. I know I personally really enjoyed hearing more about talented AI. And I'm looking through the chat, and it says, in your presentation, you mentioned utilizing artificial intelligence and taking the learnings from one state. I believe you mentioned, if I'm recalling your pitch correctly, New Jersey, and applying it to another state. Would you be able to expand upon how you plan to do this and leverage the AI?
Sure. Again, first, I'd like to start by thanking you, Lauren, and Heather for organizing this wonderful experience with JFF. So to answer your question, as was mentioned earlier, there are different types of AI. So there's we all know of ChatGPT. It's been very useful, and so there's large language models. But those types of systems can't really do the kind of work we all do, which is how do you really manage the complexity of people in this dynamic environment. So there's a new type of AI that's needed, and they're called agent-based AI systems. So those are the cutting edge of artificial intelligence. And that's what we're using at Talented. So what that system will allow us to do is that we learn from every single interaction. What is the best way to take a youth, 18-year-old in maybe Newark, and take them through the process of skills acquisitions and mentorship so that they can finally be placed in a wonderful job in Newark. That same learning can be applied to Chicago. It can be applied in Louisiana. It can be applied nationally. So the great thing about our system that we learn from every single interaction, which is great, because this way we don't have to reinvent the wheel in every city we go. And in fact, the more cities we go, the smarter the system gets.
That's awesome. Looking through, I like this next comment and then question. It says that someone deeply invested in nurturing talent and fostering growth. I'm intrigued by the profile of individuals your programs aims to attract. Can you talk a little bit more about what an ideal candidate or student is for your program?
The ideal candidate is actually the young souls who are least served by the current system. As you know, the workforce system has many challenges, as has been discussed by my fellow EIR mates. So it really takes a village, right? And the question is, who's least served by the system? So the person or the group of people that I would first love to serve are the people who are least served. So typically those would be 16 to 24-year-olds who live in these distressed communities, who are facing these incredible challenges to gainful employment. Perhaps they have involvement with the justice system. Perhaps they didn't finish high school. Perhaps they have transportation challenges. Perhaps they have childcare challenges. So I think we should start. What I would love to start is with the most challenged, because artificial intelligence can solve it. So we might as well put it to work in the most useful place.
Thank you for that. And I know you kind of talked about this a little bit in your pitch, but someone would like you to expand upon how many placements you've had thus far, or what you're looking to, how many students you'd like to place in the future. Like, what are your goals? Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Sure. So we had a little bit of a pivot as we've moved towards serving the companies in distressed communities, as I mentioned in the presentation. So right now there are approximately 6,000, as I mentioned, hub zone companies. These are companies that by statute have to hire a certain number of people from these very distressed communities. So our ballpark estimates are take 20% of those 6,000 and then 20% of those, and then cater to the approximately 25 employees per company. So that gets us ballpark to around 50 million in revenue, serving around 1,000 apprentices a year. So that's our goal. But again, this is a national problem. But I think in terms of focus specifically on the hub zones, that would be our first North Star to hit those numbers.
No, I appreciate that. And you kind of just mentioned it, and I think this is a good follow-on question, especially just because you just mentioned your pivot. It says, can you tell us where you want to be with your company in 5 years?
Yeah, I think that was just I just mentioned. So again, so the hub zone companies face incredible challenges themselves trying to maintain their certification with the hub zone. So the hub zone, the SBA manages the hub zone program, and they're constantly being audited, and obviously they have to handle many of the challenges that we've all talked about. And so it takes a village to make this work. So our vision is that to essentially have around 1,000 companies be our customers in 5 years.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Heather, I am going to turn it over to you to close us out.
Thank you so much, Chinadu, and thank you, Lauren, for fielding all those amazing questions from our audience. Thank you for being so engaged. We really appreciate all of you attending our Youth Skills First demo day here today. I hope you're all as impressed and inspired as I am after meeting all these amazing entrepreneurs. These entrepreneurs are thinking about the future of workforce development and implementing solutions that work for young folks and large and small employers. So it's a true win-win organizations all around. I hope you'll be inspired to reach out and work with them either as partners or investors, clients, or even just adding them as part of your network. Please feel free to reach out to Lauren or myself or the entrepreneurs directly. And thank you for attending. We'll see you back here for our next demo day coming up soon. Thank you all very much.